He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What, he looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and I really respect him. Sup, buttwad?
Hey y'all, this is Preston here again with Barely There, here for another movie review for you. Pretty excited to review this one, as you guys may have already know, for the two of you that have listened to my other reviews here on the Barely There channel. Huge Spider-Man nerd boy fandom gasm. Love Spider-Man till death. Love the character so much. Undoubtedly my favorite superhero, and now we have the brand new Spider-Man Far From Home movie out in theaters now. I got my good buddy David Lee on the horn again, and we just kind of knocked out what we thought was a quick review, and yet we still ended up talking 40-50 minutes, so again I apologize for the length. But come check us out, listen to all the things that we loved and adored about this movie, and some of the things that we may have not have. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Barely There, now we're here. And without further ado, here's our review for Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay. Hey all, this is Preston again with Barely There, here with another movie review for you. With me, as I guess I could say always now, you're here pretty often. I got the one, the only, the man, the myth, the virgin, David Lee Harvey.
Hey y'all, snippity dippity.
Ooh. so glad to have you back, David. Thank you again for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. I like that. Yeah, man. This is a good one. Normally I have a clever opening for these things, but I'm pretty shot. So today we're here to talk about Spider-Man. I was gonna say Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home. This is I believe the 23rd movie within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the bookend to Marvel's Phase 3, the ending chapter of their Infinity Saga. Pretty much ever since 2008 with the first Iron Man, and now we've ended with Spider-Man, which is pretty crazy because I never really thought, and I know a lot of people did too, like in the middle of the MCU's life, like we weren't even sure if we were ever going to get Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now he's freaking closing it out of this phase. So
Be significant, you think about it that way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it's awesome. I think this is probably on screen like the best balanced live action iteration of the Wall Crawler. I think Tom Holland's a great actor. I think he pulls it off pretty well. We've had Tobey Maguire, obviously, and we've had Andrew Garfield, but I think this new gentleman, Tom Holland, he does a really good job, and he plays the title character again in Spider-Man Far From Home. So we're just gonna get into it. We're just gonna do a nice, quick, simple review, our general broad thoughts of this movie. I think it'd be cool again just to start listing off the things that we liked and loved about this movie and some of the things that we didn't. David, I'm gonna let you start. What's one element, one thing that you really enjoyed about this movie?
One thing that I really liked about this movie, I liked the I don't want to call it a twist, because everybody kind of knew what was going to happen. With Mysterio, if you know Spider-Man, you know Mysterio's a bad guy. When I say I like the twist, I like Jake Gyllenhaal's change from being that Boy Scout nice guy to the villain. That's the part that really him, and that part specifically is what I like. I like him in this movie when that Mysterio really comes alive as a antagonist, as a bad guy. I really loved him as a villain in this movie. The whole first half of Mysterio, I was kind of like, okay, cool. Bubble Boy is here, but it's like, evil Mysterio, villain Mysterio, I really just like that aspect. I liked the scenery. I liked how they traveled around in this movie. They really went far from home, from the Americas. Oh, it was just like a lot going on. It was a lot more engaging. It was a lot more humor in this movie too. Those are quite a few things I like there.
I gotcha. I first of all, incorrect. The best thing about no, I'm just kidding. No, those are solid points. Yeah. Just to piggyback off you real quick. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, we all knew he was going to be good, and we all knew Mysterio. You know, as in the trailers and the TV spots, they really played him up to be like this kind of hero. But we all knew something shady was going on, especially for those who are Spider-Man fans and know just even like the general idea of who Mysterio is. You know, he's all about illusions, all about presenting himself as something he's not. And you're right. When he makes that switch, it was very entertaining. I think possibly my most favorite bad guy monologues of all time. Like, it almost steals the movie. Like when he's just like laying down his plan, and it's a scene where it could sound so like exposition-y, just dumping all this backstory and information on you, but the way he plays it off, and they're just all just cheering for him, and it's amazing. I think he does it really well. And this movie is definitely funny. I don't think all the jokes land, but I think like, I don't know, 70-30 or 80-20. Like most of them, that they either made me smile or made me laugh out loud. Yeah, very solid. Great performances all around, not just with Jake Gyllenhaal, but again with Tom Holland. I really liked the pretty much all the relationships that Peter has with all these people, from Peter to looking up to Mysterio, to his interactions with Nick Fury. It was cool to have Sam Jackson in a pretty substantial role, and I think most importantly, I really liked Zendaya, no last name here. I really liked her a lot. I really liked Homecoming, but she wasn't what I consider a standout because she didn't really have that much to do. She had some funny lines for sure, but like in this movie, she plays an important part in the story and a more important role in Peter's life, and I think she did a great job. She was like really cool. She was still kind of like that weird, kind of like nerdy, artsy, outside of the circle kind of gal, but there were moments where I could tell like she was kind of acting that way because she actually really liked Peter, and that's just kind of like her default state. So I thought that was pretty cute. They did the cute teen romance well, which is something I haven't seen in years. So I really appreciated that. I in particular, I really loved how they kissed at the end, like how it was just kind of awkward, like they do that first peck and then they kind of get into it. I was like, yeah, because it's probably like their first kiss for both of them, and they really like each other. Plus they both almost died, so that's probably exactly how it would play out, you know.
Probably.
Yeah, right. Like it wasn't like a smooth, heroic, hey, come here, girl, you know, guy grabs her by the waist and, you know, smooth kiss. It was just, you know, awkward, cute, funny, but totally relatable.
Yeah, I remember my first kiss.
Did it go a little like this?
Well,
and twist?
Remember back to 5 minutes ago. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You're welcome. So that's yeah. I will never speak of that again. So yeah, that's what I really like. Another thing I really like, and I think you'll agree with me on this. Even though I really like Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I'm still not sure which movie I like better, I will say this movie, its action sequences are definitely a step up. Like the action sequences are, all of them are just above pretty much everything Homecoming did. Even to like the first encounter with Peter fighting Hydro Man along with Mysterio, to them fighting the fire monster, and possibly, I don't know which one's my favorite scene. I don't know if I like the scene where Mysterio is just straight up like all illusions, just tossing them at Peter, just confusing the hell out of him. And you know, you see some great visuals with him like falling through stuff, him being attacked by dozens of other Spider-Men, to freaking, this kind of freaked me out when I first saw it. Like you see Tony's grave, and you know, you see that kind of like almost like Marvel zombie like callback where the armor's just like reaching out from the grave side and just like, clawing his way to Pier. Like it was really cool, like visual effects there. I thought it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty great. That was super creepy. The zombie Tony.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And I loved it because, like, again, it was visually great, but it plays into the whole. And I love the theme. There are two major themes in this movie. One is, of course, and it's classic Spider-Man. Peter trying to balance out what he wants to do, trying to get his personal life in some order, and also balancing the responsibilities of being a superhero. And also, with this version of Spidey, it's him living up to all this pressure he feels like the world is putting onto him, because like he says like the world wants and needs its next Iron Man, and you know he's just the kid from Queens and he doesn't know if he can shoulder that responsibility. And I think that plays well, those two themes in tandem with each other, and it lends itself to great visuals like that. So I was really impressed with how they did that. What's something else that you like, David?
That's it. That's
okay.
I mean, like, I agree with you. Like, now thinking about it, this movie really was just a step up in general from Homecoming there. You know, as Homecoming was really like, it was really okay for me. I thought it was good, you know, but I wasn't really like wowed by it or anything like that, you know.
I can understand that. No, I can understand. Yeah.
It was just like, I was just happy for MCU Spidey to get his own movie, you know. But this one was just really, I think in general, again, this was just really a one up from the last movie. It was just, I think it was really a 2.0. They just took it to the next notch on like all levels there, you know. I really like, again, like, this movie was just funny to me. I really like his friend. What was his friend's name? Ned
Ned Leeds.
Ned's relationship with the one chick. That was just hilarious to me.
With his relationship with Betty.
Yeah, his relationship with Betty. Yeah, like every time I seen them,
insane.
that just had me rolling, dude.
Yeah.
I like MJ, as you might know, Mary Jane Zendaya is not my favorite person in this movie at all.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
She's not. I just don't like. But I like her development in this movie from the last movie. She's just like, I'm gonna get into, like, you know, we talk about the things that we don't like in a little bit, but just like,
sure,
you know, she's very like kind of down and dark and shadowy. I think they kind of did develop her character. I think you touched on it a little bit, to how she had a lot more of a bigger role in this movie here, and I think that she just bloomed a little bit in this movie. She became a little more human, you know, which I kind of like that about her character. I hate her character a little less in this movie.
That's good, and that's fair. Yeah, I will say, like, she feels like a legit character. In Homecoming, she just felt like a random C-tier character who just said an asshole like thing, which was funny most of the time, but just, she just popped in and say something funny and then get out. And like, almost like, I think even some of the characters said, like, why are you here? Like, you don't have detention. Why are you here? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. But like, in this movie, she feels like a full-fledged out character, like part of Peter's, like, you know, inner circle of friends, and it was nice to have her around. And everything, like you said, like, everything in this movie was turned up a notch, from the action to the characters to the themes. Like, everything was just turned up, and I think it's exactly what it needed. I think every good sequel should improve on everything that the previous movie did, and I think for the most part it succeeded.
Yeah, I agree.
The last thing I'll say positive is, I hate to say it, but you know me, I like the older women, David. All right. And Jesus Christ, Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. I'll be Peter's uncle.
Right.
Like, yo.
Right. I'll die for her.
I'll die.
And my nephew.
Yeah. Nephew, yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, Jesus Christ, she is. Whew. if I were ever dumb enough to get married, I hope my wife would end up looking like that.
Bro, they made her freaking smoking in this movie.
Kind of
Like-
ridiculously. Like, it was kind of like a joke in the first movie, and she looked okay.
Right.
In the first movie, but this movie, Lord have
Mhm.
mercy. I remember the exact scene. It was when Peter had called in. Mysterio just popped
Mhm.
into the scene. No, Ame called in to make sure he was okay. As they
Yeah.
were in, like, Europe or whatever, Italy or
Right.
wherever they were. And she, like, turned away for a second. And God, those jeans and that ass.
Them jeans.
I was like, oh my God.
Is there any room for
Oh my Lord. I was like, at first I was like, I was on Peter's side. I was like, yeah, Happy, what the hell are you doing there? She did that 180. I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
I understand. I understand.
I understand. You do you. It's okay.
Right. It's that this movie did everything bigger, harder, and stronger.
It
They
really did. It
Yeah.
really did. Can we? I'm gonna move on to the bad stuff, but before we do, this movie ended strong. The middle was strong, but dude, can we just talk about how the movie starts just real quick?
Mhm.
Because it was unexpected and it was flipping. I took my little sister that music come on. I think Celine Dion, if I'm not mistaken, and you see this shitty teenage tribute to to our fallen Avengers.
Mhm.
And I can't help it. But like, it's just like it's perfect, and I think it's exactly kind of what we needed, because after how serious and heartbreaking and tragic Endgame was, it was nice to just kind of put like a light tone on it. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And we see these really bad Getty, like 480p images of Tony Stark and Black Widow and freaking Vision, like and it's just amazing. And even then, like, I love Betty and the other kid, forgive me, I can't remember his name, but just like he was like, yeah, shit's crazy, yo. And like Betty's like, no cursing. It's like, it's not here, we all right. Like, just like you were there
Yeah.
back and forth. We see like a little bit, like, I think they were playing like a basketball game. Just they call it blip, like people blipping out and then like blipping back in 5 years later. He's like, yeah, my little brother, he's 5 years older than me now. Shit's crazy. Like, like, how's that? Just like, we're seeing the ramifications of, like, yes, it's still 5 years later. Yes, these people did come back, and just seeing like the latter tone of like how the MCU, the universe is now. I thought that was like a quick, snappy, easy way to get right on into it. Like, cool, we acknowledge it. It's funny, and we just roll right along. I thought that was a very good way to play that off.
Yeah, I think that was the right approach to take coming back in next movie after Endgame. I understand there is some critical response to how the movie didn't address very thoroughly the impact of the snap of the blip. What do they call it?
The blip.
Yeah, the blip. I understand that. There's like that. Some people are saying like, yeah, they could have they could have dived into a little bit more like how people are getting used to the world 5 years later. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, but I think at still the same time they just want to move on from that down point. They needed something high energy to kind of get back into it, and I thought that it was really funny how they opened up in the memorandum towards our fallen heroes.
For our heroes, yeah. I'm surprised, again, I know we talked about this before, I'm surprised they knew who Vision was.
Right?
Rest in pieces. Okay, so yeah, I think we went over a lot of good stuff. Now let's talk about real quick. How are we doing on? Oh, okay, got time. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we weren't too fond of in this movie. I didn't hate the first half hour or so of this movie. But And it's funny. I read and watched just a couple of reviews before I saw the movie the first time, and the majority of them said like, yeah, the movie doesn't really start up or kick in till like Mysterio pops into the scene and like he starts stealing the show and things really get moving along. I didn't hate the first act of the movie at all. I think it's fairly solid, but I will say it's. And while it's necessary, it's not as strong or as thrilling as like the later 2/3 of the movie is. For me, the movie didn't kick in until Nick Fury popped up and recruited Peter, and him and Mysterio met. That's when things got interesting for me. I was kind of like, yeah, the beginning was really funny, and then kind of going through the motions, resetting up the world and everything, and Peter's getting ready for his trip. They travel over some, random, but for the most part, fairly funny teen drama, funny love, humor stuff going on. But I remember when Peter was, trying to save the city from the water monster the first time and watching Mysterio. It's like, yeah, this is pretty interesting, and it's always good to see like Peter like do some stuff outside of his costume. But I was like, yeah, I'm still kind of waiting just a little bit for this movie to kick in. But just almost like right that second, I thought that's when Nick Fury popped up, and I really like that scene of just like, just real quick, I really like that scene where Nick Fury's trying to give him the lowdown. He keeps getting interrupted to the point he's like, hey, if someone else comes on the door, you and I are about to attend another funeral. Like, this is ridiculous. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, that's one. It's a very light one, but I guess it's one negative I have of the movie. I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that the movie was kind of long. It's a freaking Marvel movie. We're not strangers to this 2 hour plus maybe time, but
not
it's like, I just felt in the movie, I enjoyed the movie, but at the same time I kind of just felt the length of it. I was just like, geez, this movie's going on for a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
I do agree. Like the movie was funny in the beginning. It really didn't pick up till they started their trip to quote unquote Hydro Man popped up, in Venice, and things stayed up after that. One little tidbit. There wasn't, Spidey's always known for his humor, his banter while interacting with villains, saving the day and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of that in this movie. I don't remember a whole lot from Homecoming. Right. Yeah. I remember the responses from Tom Holland's Spider-Man, responses from different people and critics or whatever, saying that he's pretty balanced. He's like the perfect mix of Toby and Andrew. In a Spider-Man, Andrew had more that was a better Spidey. Toby was a better Peter. Some say, but yeah, just like that whimsical Spider-Man. I didn't really get that a lot in this movie. I just remember like one scene when they were on the bridge. He like used a droid or something to like propel him up, and he said like going up. I'm like, oh, there's Spidey. Like that's something that Spider-Man.
I don't remember that. I don't even remember that. Honestly, I remember when he was sticking to the side of the bridge and he was like, "Hey, I can help. I'm really strong and really sticky." Yeah, right. But you're right, David. Thank you. I did not realize this actually. You're right. Yeah. He really wasn't like in costume, and he has a few different costumes in this movie. He wasn't really like that at all. In Homecoming, he kind of was like. I remember when he fought the fake Avengers in the bank, he was cracking some jokes that were genuinely funny. And he had Karen, who is not in this movie for whatever reason, like his suit's AI. Like he had some good back and forth there. And even when he was interrogating Donald Glover, funny scene there too. But yeah, you're right. In this movie, he didn't really have that back and forth, and I feel like he should have, especially since how Mysterio like betrayed him, like just to get on his nerves. Definitely should have had that.
I think it's like for him personally, the stakes were higher. He didn't have his Peter tingle in this movie, and like he was focused on like MJ. So I can understand he was off his game a bit. I can see that as a
Yeah.
valid excuse, but it's still just I feel like that was a little lacking.
I agree. Yeah.
From his character, you know,
From
not
his
from
character.
the movie, but from his character. You know?
From his- a little bit. Yeah, there's this is a nitpick for sure. But just once, I wish they used the term spider sense. You know, just once. They kept
Sure.
calling it the Peter Tingle. I was feeling like Peter. Stop calling it the Peter Tingle. That's we all know what it is. Just once, just call it like when he was about to have like the final, dude, probably my favorite action sequence in the movie, when he just he hones in on his Peter Tingle. He just closes his eyes and he starts taking out the drones. Like, that's classic Spider-Man. That's like he's using his brain and his extra sense to really take down the bad guy. Which I thought was beautiful. I thought then, like, he would close his eyes and meditate, and he'd finally call it his spider sense. But no, he calls it the Peter Tingle again. That's probably all it's going to be referenced to. But
Right.
but that's a slight nitpick. But yeah, my thing is, and I get why he did it, but just like realistically, like a part of me can't help but think like, okay, so obviously we've been, you know, this is not a spoiler-free review. So when Peter decides to hand control over to Quentin Beck, Mysterio, because he believes he's worthy of the glasses of Edith, this amazing tech that holds a lot of power. I just felt like I just felt like that was too easy. He shouldn't have done that. Like, that felt a little out of character to me. It's weird. Like, I understand it, but at the same time, I could easily see him just like also not doing that. You know, because like this is a powerful thing for one. I can understand him like feeling like he's not responsible, but I'd give it to Nick or somebody. Like, again, you just met this dude, you know, like literally the night before. And this is the thing that your mentor, the guy you looked up to so hard, the guy you wanted to be like, he gives you this last thing before his death. He bequeathed it to you, and you're giving it to this kind of sort of random stranger. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't do that. But
Yeah.
you know, that's something I wasn't fully on board with.
Sure, and I think that's something that kind of just points out that Peter's still a kid. You know, he's like what, like 16 or
16.
Like,
Yeah, he's 16 in this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't a very wise decision at all. But he got doofed, man. You know, Mysterio got him. You know, that's just one of Mysterio's illusions without the holograms that he got. Right
That's
there,
true,
you know?
and it shows how dangerous he really can be. That's true. And also, real quick, a particular scene I was not really a fan of was the whole when they're on the bus and Peter accidentally calls a drone strike on this dude Brad, because, you know, and the scene of him getting literally caught with his pants down, like, that just felt like a little forced, I guess. Like, they just wanted to have that bit in there. And I think it was to demonstrate like how powerful Edith is, and like all those drones that Tony had that he never used until, well, never. But to set up the fact how powerful it is, and show how Peter really isn't ready for that kind of power. But at the same time, it seemed really slapstick, like him getting caught with his pants down and accidentally calling a drone strike on Brad. Like, it seemed very, and almost non-believable, and almost like not believable. Hey, baby goats! They would all look like they're all interested in baby goats for him to jump up and destroy the drone. Like, I don't know. Like, is that Iron Man? Like, I feel like that would have been more of like a what like kind of thing, or something. But baby goats in a world where you guys all know aliens exist, your first thing is to say baby goats. I can see like the teachers may be interested, but like the kids, they're probably looking straight forward or back to their phones. Like, I don't think they would all look.
Those teachers, by the way, They had no business being on that trip at all. Those teachers had no business being the authority.
Oh, not at all.
on that trip.
Not in the first movie, the homeboy said, "Yeah, I couldn't bear to lose another kid. Not again."
Man.
Like,
right. Those are the worst chaperones they could have taken.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh
They
my
might as
God.
well the kids might as well just plan their trip by themselves. They had no
Right.
right. No
Like
right.
when the dude first said like my wife pretended to got bliffed away.
Flipped
I'm like,
away.
"Hey, that's pretty hard." But then I kind of understood as the movie progressed. I'm like, okay, that's why she did that. you know?
Yeah, he's pretty clueless. He's funny, but he's pretty clueless. Like he has a. And I liked him for the most part. Like the stuff he said and the bits that he had were pretty funny. And I hate to say this because he's the only black dude there, but I did not like the other one though. The other teacher. He didn't really say. He had one funny line, and that's just because he mentioned the Power Rangers. Like that was it.
Right. His name is like his name's like something Smooth, JB Smooth, something.
JB Smooth, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
like I never thought he was really funny. I
Okay.
remember this dude popped up like in the freaking 90s, you know. He
He
was always kind of like a B character and something, you
Right.
know, but
B character
there
here.
there was like a few things that he made me laugh in, but I never thought he was very funny, honestly.
Yeah, same. And I don't know if it's just because he's not naturally that funny, or because like the lines and the stuff they had him do in this movie was. I remember one scene where like where MJ's like calling Brad out, like, "Why are you taking pictures of dudes in their underwear in the bathroom?"
Mhm.
And like I remember like they're all laughing and walking away, and like JB Smooth comes up and he's about to talk to him. I thought he was gonna say something like hilarious, but he's just like, "Nah, don't do that shit. It's not funny." You know,
Right.
and be the cool teacher. I'm like, that's it? Like that's all you had to work with? That was kind of lame.
Yeah. I feel like he
Um,
kind of made his own lines for this movie. You know, they're like, okay, JB, you do what you right.
He's
We'll
smooth.
support you. Right.
And he
Sweet.
wasn't.
He was funny in Pootie Tang. He was in that movie.
So I've heard. I haven't seen it, but so I've heard. It's kind of it's a real nitpick, just to call it that one character. But it was like every time he did say something, it did kind of. I don't want to say it took me out of the movie, but I was like, that wasn't needed. Like that, it should have got somebody else, or just have the one teacher do it. Like I don't understand. Maybe after the Washington Monument thing, he's like, no, I better tag along somebody else. But he was super irresponsible. He fell asleep during the flight. He kept calling this is the work of witches.
Welcome
Witches.
to the New Dark Ages.
Yeah, welcome to the dark. That kind of smile.
That was kind of funny. Yeah,
It
that was
kind of
right.
funny. It was kind of funny. Welcome to the New Dark Ages. I'm like, what? Okay, way to calm them down. But yeah, he just wasn't that great. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't like about the movie. Nah,
No?
I think. Okay, again, just last thing, another nitpick. If it was just bigger or just like a different design. I'm not saying it has to be like the PS4 Spider-Man, but if it was just something a bit more radically different, I think I could have gotten into it. But it just seemed like, why didn't he just use the Homecoming suit, like the one he packed with? I don't understand why. And it didn't seem to do that much different. He ran out of webs during the end fight sequence anyway. Like I don't understand why he had to build a new suit. Was it just to give that homage to Tony? Like I don't really get it. It's a small thing. Like it looks okay. It's not my favorite one, but it's not my least favorite one.
Yeah.
So it was all right.
Sure.
That's all I got.
My last little rant that I want to give about like what I didn't like. I'm just gonna talk about the character Mary Jane. Okay, so
It's okay. You mentioned her before, yeah. What is it about MJ Michelle Jones that you do not like?
Zendaya's Mary Jane, Zendaya, whatever her name is, Zamba Juice. But Zendaya's Mary Jane in this movie series, I I understand changing a character. I'm a black man. I am not racist. I am not against ethnically changing a character. I'm all for Black Ariel. Let's see it. But what I'm saying is, I think that her character, the way that they changed Mary Jane, is just really not Mary Jane. They really recreated her entire character. They didn't just turn her into a girl of a brown girl of a ethnic background. I don't know what freaking Zendaya is, but she's something. But they totally changed. MJ was always spunky, kind of cheerful, kind of like a cheerleader supporting Spider-Man. But I totally understand their switch, because MJ was always not very interesting. I was never very interested in the character of Mary Jane. She was always kind of just there. You know, I was like, oh, okay, cool, MJ's here. I feel like her character was always just like, you know, that's Spider-Man's girl. There's not a lot of depth to her. That's like one of his motivations is Mary Jane. So I'm like, okay, Mary Jane, let's get a new Mary Jane. Let's kind of like put a fresh spin on it. But I just really don't like the dark, gloomy, and especially like the social justice warrior MJ in this franchise, which I said earlier, they really did tone down from the first movie. In the first movie, I couldn't stand her at all, but I really. I like the change. I like the growth that her characters has had in this movie. But that's just my little rant on MCU's MJ.
I understand. I guess I'm not as, I don't want to say annoyed, but I'm not as annoyed with it as you are. But I get where you're coming from. But my only issue is, and again, the movie kind of starts off this way. I wish they would have developed their attraction to one another in the beginning, because I guess I can kind of see it from MJ's side, just because she was always so mysterious about her true intentions, especially in the first movie. But like, I remember thinking, because, you know, Peter's like laying out his plan of like how he wants to get with MJ. I'm just like, when was it established that Peter liked Mary Jane like that? Like, I don't recall. Like in Homecoming, he didn't really seem to, you know, pay much attention to her.
He was after that other black girl in the first movie.
That's true. He likes them light skin.
Right.
He likes the mochas. I mean, I won't fault him for that. That's
get you your mocha, fine. Peter. Get you your mocha.
Get you your mocha. He likes them tall and mocha flavor. It's weird. I've been there. I understand. But yeah, I just wish they would have like given like some backstory or some line or something, just so I could, because the only reason why I know Peter would like MJ is because like I know that's their comic book history. I don't understand why this Peter all of a sudden likes this Mary Jane. Like I kind of get it. Their personalities, they're both very smart and they're both kind of opposite, so maybe they attract. Again, I just wish they would have. It seemed a little out of the blue. Like, oh yeah, Peter really likes MJ now. He's gonna come up with this whole plan to you know, tell her how he feels during this trip. But yeah, it was pretty good. It's maybe, I'd have to think about all of them. Oh, maybe Steve and Peggy. I was gonna say it's probably my favorite couple in the MCU. Although Betty and Ned are a close second. It's such a teen thing. They fell in love over it. I just love the fact they broke up the second they got back. I love the fact, like, it was literally just a summer fling, and but they're still on good terms. I love that so much.
Yeah,
Ned's got some skill. He's got some charm. Apparently.
Yeah, man. He did whatever he did. It worked. Very
quickly. Even Peter was surprised. Like, what the hell was that? When did that happen? Coming, babe. And then, like, when they were texting each other on that bus, saying "I miss you," I'm like, even Peter made the exact expression I did. He was like, "What?" Like, you guys are sitting right next to each other. How could you miss?
And Preston, you know who I immediately thought of on that scene?
In relation to, like, a person being Peter, or like the Ned?
Just Ned and Betty's relationship. Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me think. It's somebody we both know, right?
Yes, it is somewhere we both know.
I'm not in the couple. I'm not involved, right? It's not.
You're very involved. It's freaking you, man. It's listen, you just always do that thing where we're in the same room and you text me.
Oh,
What you
for all you barely there listeners out there, when David lived in Michigan, I would have, for each one of my friends, I would just do something really stupid to each one of them. Jeremy, it was always random. Josh, I would ask him like, "Hey man, you got any bread in your fridge?" Just to piss him off, because this is something random I'd always ask him. But I would just straight up eat. No, it was the hot dog bun. I was like, I don't need the hot dog. I just need the bun. And for David, whenever we hang out, usually right in the beginning, I'll text him, "Hey, what you doing? What you doing? What are you doing?" Even though, again, I was physically like 2 feet away from him.
I say this man is faithful. You kept that up for quite a few years.
I did, and I sure as hell will when you come back later this year.
Oh, goodness.
It's not going to stop till you reply back. I don't know what you're not getting. It's kind of rude not to reply back, David. But yeah, I apologize for that. So yeah, that being said, I think we're pretty much there. I want to do two things. I want us to give our review of the movie right now on our rating system. And then I also want to talk about one more big thing afterwards. But right now, David, if you want, I can go first, or if you want to go first, if you want to give your rating on this movie real quick.
I'll go first.
Okay.
This movie, I gave this movie a good old let's go.
Let's go.
I gave it like I'm trying to remember like when I first saw this movie, because I'm like yes, this movie is but yeah, I'm pretty sure this movie was a high let's go for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself watching this movie again and again. This movie was just a super step up from the last movie. I enjoyed it. Pretty much everything that they did in this movie was just a great notch up. The humor in it, I was just laughing hardcore. Mysterio being the bad guy, I love bad guy Mysterio. His freaking illusions made the movie for me. Like, that was just like, those were so cool. Like that second part, his second illusion where Peter Tingle's back. That just made it for me. That was too grand. Just a grand time. It was if you would have asked me years ago, what do you think the live action adaptation of Mysterio is going to look like on live screen? I would say, you fool, there's never going to be one. You know, right. Yeah, like there was, but there's just no. I feel like there's no way they could have done it better than what they did. That was just like so iconic. Mysterio, so classic, like it's like the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon just came alive to me on those illusion scenes there. It was so yes, I would give this movie the only reason why I'm not giving this movie the duck is because it didn't really take me to that duck experience, but I did thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was a great time. I give it a high let's go.
A high let's go. You're going with a high let's go. And man, I'm right there with you. I'm giving it a high let's go too. It's not perfect, and it's not the best Spider-Man movie, but at the same time, I don't think it's trying to be. I think it's much like Peter, like it's trying to do its own thing. It's trying to find some new grounds, trying to have its own identity, but it's a quality movie from start to finish. And it gives the fans what they need, especially for those who've been following this Spider-Man, this universe since day one. Like, there's great callbacks. Oh my God, I remember, like, there's two in particular. That's the other thing I want to talk about. But the first one I thought of was when Mysterio was giving his backstory, and it's like, hey, that was the dude from the first Iron Man. And hey,
that was cool.
That was cool. And then and Beck was there in Civil War when Tony was showing off that hologram display, and he's just like, barf? He renamed it Barf. Like yeah, that would piss me off too. Like yeah, those callbacks were they were on point. Almost they make it like they do it so well. Like this was their plan like all along, and maybe it was. I don't know. But and yeah, again, this movie's not perfect. There are some slow parts. There's some stuff that could be tighter, but like you said, like I had a fun time. This movie has its duck moments for sure. Just like those bits again, like you said, the Mysterio illusions, Peter using his Peter tingle. That whole end action scene was honestly like it was fantastico. So yeah, I give it, a very high let's go. It's if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're a superhero fan, if you're a Marvel fan, if you just want to see something good in the movie theater right now, this is the ticket. This is the ticket. So yeah, that's our review. But the last thing I wanted to talk about real quick, we're still making good time. Undoubtedly for me, and I'm sure for many other people too, maybe the best end credit sequence since ever. Especially because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and we grew up on the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. When J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson popped up on that screen,
JJJ returns.
A woman on the other end of the theater, but still the same row. She went, "Ow!" and I was like, "Shut up." But you're right. Ah! Oh my god! It's J.K. Simmons. It's like that's J. Jonah. Like that's J. Jonah Jameson. Like he is the one and only. Like people talk about like how you can't recast Iron Man, you can't recast I don't know, but Iron Man. Wolverine, you can't recast Hugh Jackman. But no, this man, you cannot recast. Like when you read a Spider-Man comic now, or you think of J. Jonah, you hear this man's voice, you see this dude in your head.
Right, bro. This hasn't happened since Deadpool. I feel like I don't know any other role that's been like reprised by the same actor.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like this is so spot on. Like he owns the character now. And when he came on, I thought maybe we would get like a voiceover because I was like another dude talking. We had breaking news from the Daily Bugle, blah blah blah. But they showed his face on that big jumbotron. I was like, oh my god! Right? I nerdgasm. Not since. Well, it's not that long ago. But in the movies and theaters now. But not since Steve picked up the hammer did I nerdgasm so hard. Juices everywhere. And if that wasn't enough, the info he spilled was just as big. It was a clip of Mysterio revealing to the world that Peter Benjamin Parker is the Spider-Man. And it's really cute because the movie ends the way Homecoming did with Aunt May saying, "What the fuck?" And now this movie, it's Peter, his hands on his head, eyes wide. What the fuck? And, I thought that was a good callback too. And it's awesome because like now I don't know what the hell is going to happen for Peter going forward. It's interesting. And in this universe, they don't really play up the whole super secret identity thing. You know what I mean? Even in this movie, like when Peter meets up with Mysterio, like there's a bunch of agents. He's just walking around without his mask off, and Nick Fury's like, "Oh yeah, it's cool."
Right.
But for Peter, like it's a big thing for him. He just wants to try to have some semblance of a normal life. But now he can't have that anymore. I don't know if he can go back in time and get some stones and fix this. But like yeah, the world knows now that this 16-year-old kid is Spider-Man. So, and that's crazy. Man, I'm excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah, it's gonna be whatever they're gonna do. It's gonna be huge. Like I really see the climax of MCU Spider-Man 3. It's gonna be really whatever they're gonna do. It's gonna be explosive, and I think that Spidey's probably gonna show up in something before he has to show up in something before, I don't know, Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, Captain Marvel 2, freaking Ant-Man 3. He's gonna be in something, between Far Far From Home and Spider-Man,
Spider-Man
3.
3.
I don't know what's going to be, but I just know that there's going to be a huge climax for him in the third Spider-Man movie because of these beans being spelt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some the scrolls are up to something, with Fury up there too, which is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah. It's yeah. Like you said, yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Honestly, yep. Just yep. Yes. And it's so cool because it again in a different way, but it plays on the fact, like, especially in the comics, like, Spider-Man is viewed by like half of New York as the villain. Like, he's a menace, and Mysterio just did it in like the biggest way. Mysterio's such a dick. Like, in his last moment, he still chooses to just do the most dickish thing he can, and just to spill the beans that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, which I thought was lovely.
Right.
But yeah. This is gonna be interesting. Peter having to try to clear his name. I don't know how they're gonna do it, if it's even gonna happen. But it's gonna be great. And then the last end credits scene. This one I could kind of take or leave. I just wonder if they just put this in because the movie Captain. I just wonder if they just put this in because the movie Captain Marvel happened, and they just wanted to. And yeah, it was kind of funny. It was kind of neat. It wasn't great. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. It was like a blah, 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 what, like kind of scene there. I don't think there hasn't been like a huge shocker like reveal like that. I don't know if like ever,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, great movie. Go see it.
Go see it.
Haven't already? You two probably have.
Yeah, you probably have. I don't know why you're still listening to this review. But I appreciate it. Send money.
Help.
Need help. I can't control it. Ugh, Dr. Phoenix. So yeah. So David, I feel like this was a pretty good quick review. I just checked the timer though. We're at 50 minutes. It felt good there for a second. I would say I'm gonna go back in and I'll edit it, but I won't. But yeah, no, this was a good review. I think
you're still recording.
Still recording.
Hey y'all.
Look up, Marlon. Say cheese. Cut and print. But yeah, I hope you guys found our review informative and stimulating, and basically just mirroring every thought that you already had, so you can sleep safe tonight knowing that you're a smart. But yeah,
Smarterson.
You're smarterson. When I grow up, I'm gonna be a genius.
Nash. Well, my heart exploded.
My heart exploded. I love Adult Swim. Freaking Sea Lab, man. Freaking Sea Lab. Shout outs to anybody who gets that reference. Leave a like, please.
I'll marry you.
They will marry you. I'll marry you. He's a good man. Fresh virgin, just waiting for you.
Okay, there. Okay, yeah. So.
But yeah, thank you again, David, for reviewing this movie with me. Really appreciate you.
Yamo B.
Yep. Bless you. And then, yeah, I guess we'll be doing other movie reviews. I can't wait again for the third Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man. I forgot what I said. Like, I came up with a title. Apparently, they have to have home in all these subtitles. Like Spider-Man. Shit, what did I say? Spider-Man. Homecoming, Far From Home. Spider-Man. It was like Run Away From Home or Running From Home. Spider-Man Running From Home or something like that. Yeah.
Running From Home, that'll make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because like he's on the
But
run.
it has the words "from home" in it.
It does, but not far. So we're
Right.
kind of different.
Spider-Man home security system.
Home security.
They can do that one.
I kind of see that. I got a picture of the house, like the bars coming down, and you see Spider-Man's face on it. Lights going off.
Home Depot.
His
Spider-Man
Peter
home.
tingle's going off.
Right.
Ugh.
Call Home Depot. We need
Call.
you.
Okay. See that guy from yesterday working there. But yep, that's our review for Spider-Man Far From Home. Thank you very much. One in probably just the one for listening. Barely there. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't. That's all I got. They join forces together like the Power Rangers.
You mean Voltron?
No! Voltron? No!
You mean Voltron?
Voltron. Get out of here.